Hey everybody. How it is Tuesday and it is 5 o'clock p.m. And it's just my imagination running away with me. But the name of the song is Running Away with Me. And we have to learn to support local artists and small business and black business. Hey, and my name is Katie Lowe, and welcome to Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And don't let your imagination run away with you. That the song that you just heard, "Running Away with Me," is by a local artist, and her name is Queen Qiana. And I truly ask you to support this artist. You can buy that particular track. I know you can buy it on iTunes and probably on most streaming apps. Go and purchase the song. Go to my Facebook page, Rhythm Flow Radio Community, and also go to my group, Friends Who Like Rhythm Flow Radio, and share the video. It doesn't cost you a dime to like and share and support that young lady. I mean, we have a lot of talent around Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois. But, you know, support her, support the young lady. Okay, another thing, the thing that's going on down around the border, they say history repeats itself. And I was reading an article about what was happening down in Texas. I think it's around Del Rio, Texas, where the Border Patrol actually had whips and they were actually whipping the migrants who were trying to come into the United States from a country that is it I mean that you could say it's kind of destitute right now in a way. And all I want is to come for a better life. I thought that's what it was all about. But to beat someone with a whip on horseback, I just think that's kind of I don't know. I just think that's kind of barbaric. I really, really do. And I think our government, I think they should really do something about it. I had to get that off my chest. Now, I want to tell you about this bad ass that I'm about to bring on the screen. And when I say that she is one badass, she is all that and a bag of chips. The lady wears so many hats, too many to talk about, like director, producer, author, songwriter, uh, founder, poet. I mean, just on down the line. So, when you hear all of this, so you know it's in the industry, okay? And she's all tied up in it. I'm going to bring to you, and not only is she going to talk about her life, she's going to read some of her very expressive poetry. I'm going to play this song again, and then I'm going to bring on the guest this evening, Yemaja Jubilee, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee. Enjoy the music, and I will be right back. All right. Shall I bring on the co founder and the director of Cultural Libations, playwright, director, producer, inspirational speaker, poet, author, songwriter. She is one badass, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee. Welcome to Rhythm Flow Radio Live Stream. I am so honored and happy to have you here.
I have to tell you, Katie, I am not only in the flow, I am the flow.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
And I am the flow of the divine. Let's classify that. Not just me, myself, and I. I am in flow and of the flow of the divine that created me. The magnificent master artist of this universe created me to be who I am, and I bring it forth to the world with great humility.
All right. Oh, you have such great confidence. You have a great aura about yourself, too.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on myself to rid myself of those habits, people, and places and things that no longer serve my highest good.
All right. Okay, you know what? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born in a small rural town in Charlotte County, Virginia, Sachs, Virginia. And you first time you probably ever there are no stoplights, only a post office and a red barn, okay? And with
What?
a stop sign. But I was born there to the Reverend John Henry and Marie Brown many, many, many years ago. And I was raised in a small community doing Jim Crow, doing everything. I went to a school that was defined by being my blacks. The blacks had one school and the whites had another school. And from that culture, but there was a community there of African Americans, of black women mostly, that held
Mhm.
that community together. And my grandmother and the people in the neighborhood, I learned things from them. I was an active member in everything that went on in that community, and I took it all in. And as a result of that, all the experiences that I've had, I express it in my poetry. I express it in my poetry. And with coming from that, I first started out at Virginia Union University, but I later went to Virginia Commonwealth University to get my degree in alcohol and drug counseling. I went there with that. So I feel like I've had many, many, many lives in this one lifespan that God has so wonderfully blessed me with while my time on this earth. And I am a firm believer in being who I am, but I feel that it's been a journey for me to unravel and uncover and express the divinity and express my enoughness and embrace my inner essence and embrace myself and love myself. It's been a journey. And I'm still on this journey, and I'm still trusting in something bigger than me to have me become more and more and more. And as I become the more and more, I share my thoughts, my wisdom, and my lessons that I've learned from my experience with you, such a person as you, and with those that are willing to listen to what I have to say. Not to say that I'm right, but to say that everything is possible. You can be what you were meant to be when you embrace who you are. And you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed, because when we believe in something bigger than ourselves, girl, we got it going on.
I want to ask you this. You were talking about being you and being yourself and being into yourself. A person has to learn to love and accept themselves before they can be all that they can be, right?
Yes, that's number one. That's number one. You
Okay.
cannot give to other people what you don't give to yourself. And if you don't have it, you can't give it. You would give of what you have. But to me, learning to love embrace and be myself was a journey within myself. And when I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and I used to live out in not Nashville, but Chattanooga, Tennessee, when I first realized that there were hills that I had to walk up and down. And at the time, I smoked. Okay. I smoked cigarettes because my husband, my ex-husband, worked for Philip Morris. All right. And I got all my cigarettes for free, but it was hard for me to walk up and down those hills and get my exercise. So I wanted to drop the cigarettes, which I did. And I made up this affirmation. I love myself. I believe in myself. I value myself. And I accept myself right here where I am. And that was in the 80s. That's when I did a lot of mirror work. I did a lot of reading Louise Hay and affirmations and looking in the mirror and just telling myself how beautiful I was. Because I used to weigh 238 pounds. All right. So it's been a journey in loving myself because I've not only shed the pounds, but I've shed the excess baggage of dysfunctional family patterns that went in my family through therapy and through just, and every time I take something off, it's just like taking off a dress and throw the old dress away and I got a new dress, right? But I
Yeah,
threw,
well,
yes,
I know about that weight because my highest range has been about 290 something.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I know that's a struggle, but I guess once you really learn to accept yourself and love yourself for who you are, you start doing better. You take care of yourself better.
Yeah, you not only do you when you know better, that's what Maya Angelou says. When you know better,
You
you do better. And
absolutely.
when for me, knowing sometimes knowing is not enough. For me, knowing was not enough. I had to embody, I had to embrace, I had to evolve from my heart and put that in my heart and in my spirit and in my essence. And then I just came right on out. And this is what you see today. And I'm still longing and knowing that there always is more. It's been a journey, that the pain has been my greatest teacher. The struggles have been my greatest teacher. There are gifts in struggles. When we embrace our imperfectness, there are always gifts to be found. When we embrace those habits that we have, because the other side of the coin is the love. The other side of being uh isolation, because I was on Prozac. Okay.
Ooh.
I and the other thing that I want to share with your audience and with you is I was to the point where I wanted to commit suicide. Okay.
Wow.
Because I was so depressed. And I was depressed. I was living there, raising a child on my own. And when I after I got a divorce, and it was just a lot going on financially and trying to raise this young woman who was going out the window at night and ended up in Atlanta, taking my car and being in Atlanta, just a lot of stuff going on. But
Mhm.
I when I got those thoughts, I used to have this red LeBaron convertible, okay? And I would ride around Nashville in it, and I rode by the cemetery, and I thought to myself, maybe it would be better if I was in the cemetery.
Ooh.
And that's exactly, I was so depressed. I was on Prozac, but it wasn't helping. And I was in therapy, but I called a
Mhm.
close friend, and she said,
Mhm.
Yemaja, drive yourself into inpatient treatment. And I put myself in Tennessee Christian Center, and that's where it turned around, it right there. Okay, it turned around. So it's a journey, but I learned through that, and I'm still here, girl. Still
You
being.
survived it. You
Yes,
survived it.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Because you said the thought was there.
yes,
But you,
yes,
hey, but you took that other fork in the road. How
yes.
about that? Okay. You know what? Let me ask you, what is your definition of a badassery?
To practice the art of badassery,
Yeah.
from my point of view and my opinion, You have to be honest with yourself about who you are. You
Mhm.
embrace who you are, where you are. You embrace all of your past, you know,
Mhm.
and you do not judge yourself. You are authentic. Authentic. You have transparency and you have moxie. You have moxie. And when you put all that, like you mixed up a batter in a cake bowl and you put it all in, you put a big dose of humility, and belief in something bigger than yourself. And you practice what you preach to the best of your ability. To the best of your ability. Of course,
Mhm.
all of it is guided by, I call God the big G. All right.
I know that's right.
A big G. All right. So that's what, and I'm guided by those things and guided mostly and grounded first in the big G. And whatever comes out, I trust it now. I used to be a time that I didn't trust what would come out of my mouth.
Mhm.
But what does the scripture say? Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart. So I watch what comes across my lips and the words that I use. And that makes me not makes me, but allows me to be the best version of Yemaja Jubilee at this time in my journey.
Okay. Okay. You know what? But is it good or is it bad to be a badassery?
I feel from the perspective, when you label things good and bad, that's a
Mhm.
duality. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And that's a duality. That means you got to be on one end of the spectrum or the other end of the spectrum. But when you come together in the middle, I do not feel that that is a way that is non-acceptable to a lot of people when you mention that word badass, because they think, oh Lord, have mercy. What is this? What is this? But to me, when you practice the art of badassery with humility, it is the one thing that allows you to emerge and evolve and to be in touch, in tune with the spirit, and you bring it.
Can be. So you can't be bad, huh?
No, no, no.
No rules there. Okay, you know what? When did you start writing poetry?
Well, as I was saying to you before, I grew up in a small community,
Mhm.
rural. I call that rural, bucolic community, right?
Okay.
And at 16 years old, I lived in a house and there was a juke joint that was down the street from where I live. And you could hear BB King, or you could hear that song, I Couldn't Sleep at All Last Night. Those kind of songs would be coming out, or some type of blues, or what is Howlin' Wolf, he used to sing all the blues and all those people like that. And I could hear it. And I always wanted to go down there. I always wanted to go. And my mama and my daddy told me, gal, you cannot go down that street to that house. That's the house of the sin, it's a den. It's a den of sin. However, what I would do would get at my bedroom window and I watched the Diggons go in and out, the people in the neighborhood go in and out, and the lady sold bootleg whiskey too as well. All right. And she was blind. All right.
Oh.
And she had this juke joint. So I I could not express myself when I was growing up. You were to be seen and not heard. So what I did was I went to the Rexall drugstore in Chase City, Virginia, and I bought a little pink diary. They didn't call them journals then, they called them diaries. And so I started putting my feelings in writing in the book because I was to be seen and not heard. I had to be seen and not heard. So the first poem came out of me observing what was happening right there and what I was feeling inside. So I put it in the poem called Where Have All the Christian Folk Gone? They sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. And I'd like to read that to you now, if that's okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Where have all the Christian folk gone? Let me tell you, they sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. Why, Brother Joe, I saw you at Sister Cece's last night, coming out the back door, pawing all over Brother Sam's wife. Where have all the Christian folk gone? they sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. Oh, by the way, Brother Sam, wait just a pea picking minute. It was you I saw going in the Drake's Branch, Virginia ABC store. And if the truth be told, you have become a regular customer and you've been buying more and more and more and more. I see you carrying them bags, them large brown bags. And guess what? They are larger, larger than ever before. Some of y'all be thinking Sister Sally been having Bible study classes at her house on Wednesday nights. I got something to say about that. Why, that's just a lie. And it's a sin and a shame, I tell you. I'm willing to bet that that's not all she does. In Jesus' name. Where have all the Christian folk gone? They sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. Brother Earl, I saw you and the Right Reverend Shaky and the highly esteemed Reverend Lackadoo shoving money into Sister Sally's apron pocket when they were coming out of her house. They be laughing and whispering and saying all those dirty words that I dare not repeat. Like, this is what they say. She sure know how to make a man feel the Holy Ghost from his head to his feet. And they be coming back every week. Where have all the Christian folk gone? They sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. Now, Sister Mary Alice, her be known as a shy, fragile thing that is in the local church circles. She was wooded, y'all see, at an early age and early in life. But the other church ladies been whispering behind her back. And that ain't right. That ain't right. They be saying she be slipping and cocktail sipping at the Manzel Bach, better known as the Pink Pussy Haven in our neck of the woods. Where have all the Christian folk gone? They sure ain't gone to no heavenly home. And let me tell you what is this. Then some of y'all deacons that I be seeing going in and out be sitting in the church pews on Sunday morning with the pastor in the pulpit preaching the gospel and the word of Jesus. And y'all be saying, well, in the amen corner. While the sisters, they be singing, Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy on me. Lord, mercy on me, on me. Where have all the Christian folk gone? They sure ain't gone to no heavenly home.
All right.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
do you have a book of poetry or something out there on the market?
Yes, that was from my
Amazon,
first.
one of the bookstores, or your
Yeah,
website?
yeah, that was from my first book called "Couldn't Keep It to Myself." All right, this is the first book that I wrote,
Oh,
and
couldn't keep
it's
it to
you got it
myself.
right
That's
there.
it. But
Yeah,
okay,
couldn't keep
okay.
it to myself, and it's available on Amazon.com. And couldn't keep it to myself is named from a song that my mother used to sing in church called I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. That's what that book is named for. And it's dedicated to my mother and both of my grandmothers and my daughters. And in that book, there are 20 poems. And each one of those poems, chronologically, and the short stories tell the story of my life because I use poetry to express where I was, the words that came through. And I say those poems for 20 years before that book was published. And it was a play first that was directed and co-produced by Elroy Boyd III. And we did it here in Richmond. It was chosen by the Acts of Faith here one year, and we presented it at the Bon Air Church. And then we were in DC with it. We were in Charlottesville with it. And it was a choreo poem with music and actors playing the goddesses, of which my name, Yemaja, is the last poem in the book. It's called What's in a Name, where God gave me my name in a dream.
Oh, okay. Listen, now you say this book is on Amazon. This book is
It's
on
on,
Amazon. I couldn't keep
yeah,
it to myself.
yes, you can get it on Amazon. You can order
Okay.
from Amazon.
Okay. All right. I want to try to get that and check that out. Okay. Now, now I want to make sure I heard you right. This book it's was this set of poems. Did you say they were in a play?
Yes, yes. My partner,
Hmm.
one day he came to the country where I was back up there taking care of my father, and
Okay.
he was sitting in the backyard needing something to read. So I gave him these poems. I gave him the poems, and he said, "Oh, these are so good. They need to be a play." And so he took the poems and turned them into a choreo poem, and that's how they became a play. That's how they became a play. That's how they became a
Oh,
play. Yes, yes.
okay.
Because I wrote two songs for that play, and we used some other music, and the play became a great success. A great success.
All right. So, yeah, are you still performing it? I mean, well, I know because of COVID, things are kind of slow for everybody. But is it one of those plays that every once in a while they bring it back and do it over again?
No, because we have moved on to other things.
Oh,
That was
okay.
then, and we talked about that one time that we would bring that play back. But it's
Mhm.
always more ideas to put out to where we don't have to do a repeat. We're always getting downloads on things that we can do. And so we put those, just like we did. It was Roy's idea. He wanted to do something about Minnie Riverton. We did Minnie Riverton, her life, and had someone play her. And then we did the soul of James Brown, which we researched. That was off the chain. That was off the chain. And then and everything that we did, we wrote it. It's original. It's not something that we got from someone else. God gave when we work together, when Elroy Board and I work together, what he don't have, I have, and what I don't have, he has. And the ideas just kind of come together because he is a professor of speech and theater at Virginia State University. All right.
Y'all compliment each other.
Oh, definitely.
Oh
You
yes.
better, you better watch
Okay.
out. You better watch out when we walk in a room. When we are putting something on, you better stand back because you're going to be amazed and you're
Mhm.
going to be so engrossed, and you'll come into a space with our creation, and all you can do, like with the other production that we did was called Blues Gal, that we wrote about the women of the blues.
Oh,
Girl, let me tell you, that was off the chain. It really was. We used the original music, but there was a storyline about how the women of blues came to be because we had went to see a movie. We get inspired by a lot of different things, okay? A lot of different
mhm.
things. And then God just pours into us, and we are open and receptive to the big G to just pour
All
through us.
right. Yeah, you
Yeah.
girl. Okay, listen, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. I want to say to you, support local artists. Okay, this young lady, Queen Qiana, I'm telling you, I'm just loving on this. I'm just playing you a short piece of the track. You can't get it all, okay, but you can get enough to make you want. This is a teaser. Enjoy. We'll Support local artists. That's Queen Qiana. The name of that is running away with me. And I just love it. I love the beat. I love the words. I love what it says. You can get that on iTunes. Support that local artist. And if you have a local artist that you like, hey, brag on that artist. Put that artist on social media. I mean, what does it cost you to like and share? And spend $1.29. You throw that away. Okay? Now, let's give that to our guest, Dr. Yemaja Jubilee.
Hmm.
Okay, I want to welcome you back to Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. Now, let's talk about. Did I hear something that you were a writer for your hometown paper?
Yes, I write for the Charlotte Gazette. I write a series of articles called Growing Up Black in Charlotte County. And I write them because there was a post on Facebook a while back that said, okay, they put up pictures of my high school, which was Central High School, of the blacks that were in their school. Then they put of them and what they had and the kind of band that they had and the home economics department and the shop that they had. And then above them, they had the white people doing the same things. And it pissed me off because it brought up feelings inside of me of what we had gone through, because it showed that it was what I said, the quote that I put on Facebook, this was separate, but a damn sure wasn't equal. It was not equal. And it made my heart cry to look at, because I was a part of that. So, and the people on the page tell me, oh, Yemaja, you need to get over it. You need to move on. Well, I had so much anger about that I called the person I messaged the person that put it up. And I told him how hurt I was by it and how that really, to me, it was racist. There was racism in that. That's what I felt as a Black woman, because I was there. I was a part of that. So what happened was this. I sent him, we became friends. I sent him a copy of The Cast by Isabella Wilkinson so that he could read about how we were and what things were, because he really didn't understand what it was to be Black. So anyway, what happened was I slept on it, and I asked the big G for guidance in everything that I do. What can I do with this anger that I have? And so I flipped it. I wrote a letter to the editor of the Charlotte Gazette and asked him, could I do a series of articles? And he said yes. He said yes. And I've been writing these articles ever since. I've been writing these articles because people need to be aware of the stories. And those articles are probably going to end up being a book, because I've enlisted other people to give me their experiences. I write about them all in the paper and what everybody went through. You know, I experienced the Ku Klux Klan when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. I mean, riding through my neighborhood, you know, and that was a frightening time for me. You know, it was frightening. I'm healing as a result of writing these articles, you know?
Okay, where did you tell me you grew? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Saxe, Virginia, Charlotte County, about 31 miles from Farmville, Virginia. Okay.
Wow.
Farmville, Virginia. Okay.
Listen, I have no knowledge geographically what Farmville, Virginia, any of that is all about. I mean, I'm from the South, but I don't know what that's about. That just makes my heart pound.
Well, it made mine pound definitely out of my chest when I was 9 years old and thinking about these people riding in white sheets. And my dad, in the Black neighborhood at that time, they had party line telephones. Okay.
They sure did.
And there was a code that my father and the rest of the people, my dad was very active in the NAACP, and they had a code that they would call to let everybody else know that the Klan was coming through. And not only did they ride through, they burned across the street, across the street, right there in from the house that we lived in. But there's a good ending to the story. My dad bought that farm, which was 125 acres of land. He owned it. He bought it. He owned it where they burned their cross at. He owned it. He bought it from those white people. Okay, later on in life. I mean, that's why I speak out about injustices that are done to my people. And I have a poem that I would like to read to you called Not Anymore. All right. That goes.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
Not anymore. Ain't no slave who can be browbeaten, shackled with chains, head bowed down in shame, and sold to the highest bidder. Not anymore. Ain't no wench who the master can rape and continuously sexually violate, birth his babies, which he then denies or he never claims. Then we all live with generational shame. Not anymore. Ain't no nigger, negress, negra, or negro who, because my skin is black, you hate. Hey, but let me turn my back. You imitate. Not anymore. Ain't no colored person who must ride at the back of the bus and enter public places through the back door. Not anymore. Ain't no mammy, nanny, or maid who says, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, makes your bed, cleans your filth, nurses your baby, raise your children, and even mops your floors. Not anymore. Ain't no cook who fries the chicken, bakes tarts and pies of all sorts. Then with my black, callous, rough, ashy hands, I need your bread. And you know what? Putting a piece in a part of my soul in every turn of the dough. Then you eat it, devouring a bit of my anger, a bit of my shame, and a bit of my hate in every morsel and every crumb. Not anymore. Ain't no bitch with tits and a hole in the middle of my thighs and behind parts, which, by the way, is a part of my God-given natural beauty, but used in many forms of sexual exploitation. Not anymore. Ain't no mistress who waits for you sitting by the phone while you are with your wife and I be at your beck and call. Not anymore. Ain't no slut who screws around with you, your friends, or anyone who has a penis, be it for money, honey, or be it for glory. I will not sell my soul, even if it's to satisfy Tyrone, Butchie, or Leroy. Not anymore. Ain't no skeezer, ain't no hussy, ain't no tramp for some old dog or some high-tailed alley cat. Not anymore. You know who I am? Now take a breath and breathe with me. And listen, let me tell you who I be. Spiritual being. Spiritual being human. Spiritual being human being. Spiritual being human being woman. Spiritual being human being woman of color. Soul sister. Sister girl. Girlfriend. Genuine and authentic. Compassionate. Caring, warm, loving, genuine, kind. And guess what? I'm even forgiving. Forgiving. I'm a friend. I'm a spiritual friend. I am sassy. I am sensual. And I'm sensitive. And guess what, girlfriends? Guess what I do? I radiate beauty from the inside out that is given to me by the divine. In my divine essence of my soul, I radiate the light of the big G from my head to my toe and even to the tip of my pinky toes. Let me tell you, I am living my life guided by the big G, and I live it, embrace it, love it, and I live it from inside out to be all that the divine would have me to be. That's who I am. And so it is.
All right. How about that? Oh, you just expressed that so beautiful, so
Thank you.
emotionally. You just feel it.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Are there any poets that inspired you?
My number one well, I have to take, let me take, I have several. Uh, Maya Angelou,
Okay.
phenomenal woman. Oh man, I never got a chance to meet Maya Angelou, but I followed her and all read her books. I know how the cage birds sing and all her poetry. And then she always sung that song, "There's a Rainbow in the Sky." All of that has inspired me. And lately, Amanda Gorman. Amanda
Oh,
Gorman.
yes. Yes.
And so when Amanda Gorman did the poem for the inauguration for President Joe Biden, I was so inspired with her. Katie, let me tell you what happened to me, girl. I got to tell you the story.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Yes, I went to bed. I followed her. I got the Time magazine, read up everything about Amanda Gorman. And one morning, I don't have the poem in front of me that I could read. I woke up with this poem at 2:30 in the morning. It was inspired by what I had seen about Amanda Gorman. And it's about I am, you are, we all are. We all are evolving. We all are thriving. We all are growing. We all are showing. That poem was inspired by Amanda Gorman. So I follow her now. And then there are a lot of other poets. The first poem that I learned, Mrs. Murray Dupee was my teacher in Galilee School. And that school was also segregated in my community. I learned it was called Trees by Joyce Kilmer. That was the first poem that I memorized that I had to learn. So I've always had an interest in different poets. But then, I've come into my own poetry. And I
Okay.
see from the different styles, a way of doing it with the stanzas and the phrase and the rhythm and all of that. Each person has their own way of doing it. So I allow the downloads to come through me and tell me what I'm to say and what rhythm it's going to be, how it's going to be. When the statue came down here in Richmond,
Mhm.
I wrote a poem called Tumbling, Tumbling Down, Falling, Falling, Falling Down, Tumbling, Tumbling, Tumbling Down, Falling, Falling Down. Old ideas, old ways of relating, all the stigma attached to being Black. All the statues come tumbling, tumbling down. It goes something like that. But those kind of things inspire me. And this is what I write about. I allow that energy to flow through me. And sometimes I may get 2 lines.
Mhm.
Sometimes I may get 3 lines. Sometimes I might not get some more to that same poem for 2, 3 days later. But I use
Mhm.
my phone and I write stuff down in my phone because it always ended up completing itself. So
Poetry has taken, well, it probably always has, but it has taken on such beauty now. Uh, they call it what, spoken word, because
yes,
of the rhythm,
yes, the
you
rhythm.
know. And
Yes,
it used to be not that it used to be that, but it just I guess because they call it spoken word now. It has, like you say, so many different rhythms that I don't know. You can just really get off into it now.
yes, and and when I go out to do poetry out, I always involve the audience in it. Like when I do that poem, "Where Have All the Christian Folk Gone?" I never say those words. I let them say them, and then they get into it. They buy into it.
Okay. Okay.
Or when I do any other poem, I always find a line that I give to the audience. And
Okay.
I I have performed at jazz. I perform when somebody's playing jazz, especially when somebody's playing jazz. At the Petersburg Library, and I did that poem and some other poems, and the people really love it. And I like to go out when I do poems. I like having jazz behind me, like Nina Simone. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
and that goes very, very well. So the poems to me is it's me. It's me expressing me, and it's a way that I bring myself and words. I'm a wordsmith. You know, I love words. I have a relationship with words and the ability to put them together. I write it. I'm a poet for hire. If
Hmm.
you and if you need a introduction to a book, you send me the book, a chapters in the book, and then I will put it together so you'll have a special introduction because you'll have an original piece that encapsulates everything that's being said. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. And my latest book that's out, I wrote with Dr. Martha High, who sung with James Brown for 32 years. All right. And that book is
Oh,
called Soul to Soul. All
I
right.
think I got that cover. Hold on.
Yeah.
This might be it.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
and Martha High, as I said before, sung with James Brown for 32 years. And she and I, she's a very wonderful Christian lady, God fearing woman who's traveled for 32 years with James Brown. And she has these beautiful art. All the art, the cover that you held up is done
I
by
see.
Martha Hyde.
All
She
right.
did 6 other pieces of art for this book. She read the poems and then she painted the paintings to go with it. So that book is available also on Amazon.com. It's called Soul to Soul by Martha Hyde, the goddess of soul, and beloved the because I'm the soulful poet, so that's why it's called Soul to Soul. And I have a piece if you want to hear a piece from that.
Okay. Let me say this because our time is getting tight.
Okay.
So that you are inspirational speaker, and I can see that you speak very, very well. You're a motivational speaker,
Hmm.
and you're probably great at what they call it, not at being an MC,
Yes.
awesome MC.
Yes.
So how would people find Dr. Jubilee?
Well, you can go and you can if you Google my name, you find it because I've Googled myself right to see what's out there. Everybody needs to Google themselves to see what information is out there. You
Mhm.
can go to my Facebook page, Yemaja Jubilee, and my company, my cultural libations, who I have partnered with Elroy Boyd III, has a Facebook page, and then my company is Love, Light, and Positivity, which is
Mhm.
also a Facebook page. And then you can email me at Land in Love, LAND, in the middle, love, LUV at AOL.com, or you can messenger me as well because I'm open to doing things. I believe in keeping an open mind and expanding who I am.
Mhm.
And like Martha and I always say all the time, we are two aging broads. That's our next book. Who know how to fly. That's our next book.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. What wisdom, when you have an audience and you are performing, what wisdom do you share with their audience? Do you share your wisdom from things that have happened in life, or do you share other types of wisdom, biblical wisdom, history? I mean, just just our U.S. history. What kind of wisdom do you share with your audience? Where do you
Well,
get it from?
I call them pearls of wisdom. Everybody has pearls to share. And
Okay.
my pearls because I was raised by a Baptist preacher, honey. Okay. The pearls of wisdom are coming from my heart, from the lessons that I've learned, from the situations that I've been in. And at the time, I always can read an audience. I can read an audience. And
Okay.
when that audience is vibrating back to me and connected with me, because I have been, even though I haven't been in church, and I said, can I get an amen over here? Because, that's what I'm used to doing. You know what I'm saying? But I share what is in my heart and spirit. I listen to the spirit. Whatever the spirit wants me to share, I share it. I always know I trust it. I believe it. God always has my back, girl. Always has my back. And I'm never lost for
Absolutely.
words. And what I would suggest to people, the other piece of wisdom is listening to spirit, your intuitive self, your inner essence, and sit and be and breathe. Because when you listen, if you talking too much, you can't hear what God's saying.
Mhm.
If you're busy running your mouth on and on and on in somebody else's business, you know how we have a tendency to gossip and all this other kind of stuff, honey? You have to sit, pray, and listen. And there's always something to say. God has always something to say to you if you sit and be quiet. I do it. I walk in the woods, I hug trees, I look up at the sky, I pray, and I ask to be shown. And whatever piece of wisdom that I get for the day, usually it turns into a poem, okay? And I share it. That's part of my ministry. I share it with other people.
All
It's
right.
positive stuff. And even if it's I have a poem called Shitty Days, right?
Mhm.
Because we all have those days, but the end result of it is to learn that everything is a gift. And even on those days where you feel like you can't go on, my piece of wisdom to you is the shit's going to turn to fertilizer. And what comes out of fertilizer? You grow.
You grow.
Okay. So I could go on about this girl. I could go on about it, but we have to sit. I call it SYBD. You have to sit your butt down.
Well, I'm gonna have to have you back.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to have you back. Listen, I have uh I have had the most amazing conversation. I
Yes.
truly have. I have truly enjoyed it. There is so much more.
Yeah, that's so much. That's always more.
Okay, we just broke the ice. There is so much more. Okay,
Yes.
we are going to learn. Okay, to be into ourselves because there are
Yes.
some of us that are not. Okay, so today we just broke the tip of an iceberg, and I want to say I truly appreciate you taking out your time to come and sit and talk.
Yes. And I want
Okay.
to say thank you to you and thank you to your listening audience and to lead people knowing that they can practice the art of badassery. Okay.
Oh, girl, listen. Oh, I just love it in a positive way.
Thank you.
Okay. But it will kind of make you overflow because you just feel so good about yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's the great part.
Yeah. And I do my mama's holy dance. Do my mama's holy dance. Right?
It makes you have all of that I don't know, it just gives you some confidence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is that's important to us, right? To be
Yes.
confident.
Yes.
So I thank you so much, and hopefully we will see you next month
Yes.
where
Yes.
you can enlighten us again.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie.
Okay, thank you. I want to remind everybody this is Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And I always say support local artists. And I'm supporting, yep, that girl. I'm supporting that girl, should I say that lady. And her name is Queen Qiana. Please go out and buy her track, Running Away with Me. You can purchase that track on iTunes and most streaming apps. Okay, everybody's got some talent. So I'm going to say good night, and I want you to enjoy the music. Thank you, Dr. Jubilee.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye bye.